Hello and welcome to the Stay Grounded podcast. My name is Adrian. Today with me, I've got my beautiful to-be wife, Leiana, and my not wife, Annie, who is actually a nutritionist who is helping us with our big transformation-ish, not transformation challenge. Annie works for our, brother company, STC, and on her own as a nutritionist as well. She's a fighter. She trains fucking hard. She's an absolute beast of a woman. Someone who I look up to as a businesswoman and someone as well as knowledge in the game. So jump on board, drop us a like. I don't know what I'm doing as a podcast host. Enjoy. So we just trained at Derrimut, which was one of the worst gyms I've ever trained at. And it still is terrible.
Yeah. Not going back anytime soon.
Annie, you're using a different maps than Google. Do you want to explain to the listeners what happened?
It's the iPhone. It's the Apple Maps.
I do have to take some responsibility because I am directionally inept. And I don't think that I was born with the part of my brain that understands where I am in space and time. So, yes, I woke up at 6 a.m. I met you guys at 10:15.
Yeah.
I woke up at 6. I'm like, I'm not fucking this up. I had my breakfast. I timed my coffee perfectly. I hydrated. We were all good. And then I got in the car at 8 a.m. with the hopes of getting there before you guys. I'm like, I'm going to get there at 9:15 and they're going to be like, oh, look at this fucking, look at this
warming
chick.
up.
Yeah, yeah. And yeah, so it just took me to the Derrimut in wherever the fuck it was.
But the weird thing is, it said Airport West,
said
but
Airport
you're in
West,
fucking
and
Ravenhall.
I looked at it, and it
It wasn't your fault. Like you followed the maps. You're not part from this part of Melbourne.
Yeah,
You went to
I'm
a
so
Derrimut,
not
so
from
that's
this
correct.
part of Melbourne as well. And every time, anywhere in the west, like all the roads and the way that they fucking overlap, and every 5 seconds you have to take an exit or stay on something. Like I've never driven to the west and not fucked it up a little bit.
It keeps you sharp.
It keeps you sharp.
You have to
We
be
are
honest.
also in
Gave me a panic attack.
north, by the way.
Are we?
Yeah.
Oh,
But
that's
maybe
the first
maybe
problem.
The
Ravenhall.
West is Broady. That's further out.
Nah, isn't West
Are we
where
not west?
Jason is?
West
Isn't this
West
where
is
Jason
West is anywhere where it's somewhat scummy,
on.
isn't it?
Wasn't it called Airport West?
Yeah, but
West
then
of
it's
the
like,
airport.
but then it's like west. There's obviously the suburbs, like Western, and because you're South Side, right?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Hey,
this
who
is-
knows?
No, I think actually no. This is northwest.
yeah.
Northwest.
We just
So
don't,
we're westish.
Yeah.
don't worry, viewers. We
West
do know
side.
where we live. Hopefully,
Is St Albans west?
yes, that's west.
Is the airport west? Like not airport west, but is Melbourne Tullamarine?
I think it's northwest. I think Essendon and stuff is northwest.
Anyway, this side of town, over the West Gate, fucking Westgate. Why is it called that? The gate to the west. Anyway, is that what I would have gone over?
Yes.
Potentially.
Yeah.
And then you
Do
just
not
kept
like
going.
it. I don't like it.
I don't
You don't
like
like
the
bridges?
Westgate. I don't like.
I don't like bridges.
Yeah.
I don't like this much road. I don't like
This much
that
traffic.
there's not much soul over here because it's like newer. So I'm like, this feels like the Truman Show or something. Like it's fake. Yeah. Get some character.
Yeah. So that's like it. Somewhat leads us into our questions now.
Yeah.
Yeah, not really.
Nutrition related.
Terrible segue.
I just feel like
So-
I've started a turf war, by
We
the
got-
way, and I'd like to take back everything I just said about the
Everyone's going to be coming
Northwest.
after us. Like, we're the best suburb. So terrible segue, but coming from, obviously you're a nutritionist. You're helping us out with our challenge. So I'm
Yep.
looking directly at my camera now. It is not a transformation challenge. It is a challenge for you to essentially build a blueprint to create any sort of strength gains, physique changes, whatever you want. And you have the chance to win a share of $5,000.
It's very cool.
So sign up, which is pretty cool. But question for you is, what's the biggest nutritional no-no you've done yourself because you didn't know any better?
The clean eating thing.
Oh,
when
yeah.
I was, so many chickpeas. When I was like, I'm going to say 16 maybe, I was like, I want to be healthy. I didn't really know what that meant. It was just like health. You just want to be healthy, maybe detox everything, whatever I thought that meant at the time. And I got a book called I Quit Sugar.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And I
Everyone
went
has
down
that
that
book.
fucking
Yeah.
rabbit hole
Yep.
really hard for a long time. But it's really funny in hindsight because I was so scared of eating. Like, I would drive like 3 suburbs away to go to like the organic grocer and pay like double the price. At that time, it was probably my mum's money, but pay double the price of my mum's money to like get all the organic stuff and like not get any packaged food and all that. But like I'd binge drink on the weekends. And I'm like, what did I think I was doing? I'm like, if I had just cut out drinking, I probably would have been the healthy that I was looking for. But I think cutting out the sugar had such a lasting impact on just how I felt about food for a really long time afterwards. So like tomato sauce, I was like, oh my God, it's the devil. Like you can't have any processed sauces and that kind of shit. Now I'm like, fucking carbs, let's go. Like that's,
Smoky
cereal.
barbecue, the whole deal.
Yeah, exactly. Like you need to get that shit in there. But yeah, like I wouldn't drink fruit juice. I wouldn't have sauce. I wouldn't have anything like that. And then I was like, my eating was mostly like that for a couple of years. And then I started Muay Thai and felt like shit constantly. Like I did not get any better at Muay Thai for like maybe 2 years because I just didn't know how to fuel for it. I would have just been under eating in general. So yeah, I think the biggest mistake or no was just being scared of foods, not looking at it as like a whole picture, just being like, oh, you should pick and choose things that are evil and things that are superfoods and like eat these and don't eat those and don't worry about how much energy you're getting for starters or how much protein you're having, I just had no idea. So that was the biggest no, was just like going so hard into it with very little understanding.
Yeah, but I think like I feel like every female has been through that.
Yeah.
Like I was the same. I had no idea. Like, I had a personal trainer, like, when I was 18 and stuff for a very long time. But like I had no idea about protein, like how much to be having. I lived on fucking juice cleanses. Like I did all that. I wouldn't eat carbs. I'd literally just make a salad and have like a tuna can.
Yeah.
Like, so I was exactly the same. And like, I did all the clean eating shit. And like cool, like making protein balls, like raw
making everything with sweet potato and fucking black beans.
And like stevia, all this stuff, like in hindsight, I mean, like we didn't know any better.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, fuck, give me all the foods, like, and it's like you focus, like when you start focusing on strength and performance, like the whole thing like your whole mindset shifts. And like when you understand, like you don't necessarily have to track macros or anything like that, but when you understand like food is fuel and you can have anything, it's just obviously balance and stuff like that.
Yeah,
you can fit everything in and nothing is bad. Like I hate people say clean, bad, unhealthy, healthy. Like obviously, there's healthier options, but it's like, anything in balance and moderation is healthy. Like,
and like people kind of took that as, oh, like if I eat a Freddo frog, that is doing me damage. Like this is harmful to my health. Like not having the understanding that eating really processed foods or really highly caloric foods just make you more likely to overeat calories and get fat. It's not that the Freddo is going to kill you or it's like going in your body and it's bubbling away and it's this toxic thing. It's just like it tastes really good. Yeah. So you'll probably eat heaps of it,
What do you think creates these like no-nos? Because obviously everyone
well,
here
it's
has
come from some kind of
sort of story.
Some kind of influencer or you know what I mean?
It is, isn't it? Yeah, because it's like the lady on the front of the cover is what was selling that to me. It wasn't just like I was like, fuck this food. It was like this woman with authority says it's bad and is promising this alternative existence where I feel great all the time. It's, you said before, like, we didn't know any better. Then I was like, isn't that fucked that these 16-year-old girls don't know any better? Like, why not? We need to do better at that level, like, of maybe it needs to be in schools, like having more education around how to eat for health and longevity rather than just like.
Well, I did food tech. I mean, I don't know if that exists anymore because like
we learned to cook scones, but it wasn't
pancakes.
Yeah, but our teacher was really good. Like we cooked like balanced stuff, and there was some science aspect of like food in there, but it didn't go in deep as like macros and stuff like that. But I think still learning the ability to cook enables you to get out of these trends because like if you can cook nice food, it's like, well, you're going to eat that over shit, which will probably, even if you overeat your own cooked food, you're never going to really get to the level of these high like Maccas and all that sort of stuff. It's like it's almost nearly impossible because you're going to fill your plate with salad and potato and, all this sort of stuff that you're home cooking.
Yeah.
So that's what I really try and push with a lot of our guys is like, get used to cooking at home, like get away, like after a while, get away from the meal packs and all that sort of stuff and like learn how to cook, because ultimately that's going to create some sort of measure there organically.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think learning how to cook, like, I think that was my saving grace. Like, I knew how to cook. I started cooking when I was probably 5 or something. Like, I just did it at home. So, like, I could cook, like, a spaghetti bolognese, or I can just, like, I could always wing it and cook stuff really easily. And so, but I also think, like, how did your grandparents eat? You guys, like, what kind of food did your grandparents
I'm fucking
eat?
Aussie. It's just steak and potato,
right?
And
like
beans.
Meat and
that was
potato and some like veggies.
It's just staples. Like it's
Pasta.
fun. Yeah, well, it's fun with when I go to when we used to go with Leiana's place. Like the food that we get there, I'm like, fuck, I'm so jealous. Like I'd be huge if I was eating like this. But my parents still ate like it was the Great Depression.
But like, it's a pretty healthy diet.
Yeah, I know, but it was like just the volume.
Spam.
The volume of it was so low. Like I definitely think it stunted my growth. Is because like they were just trapped in this position of like, oh, that's a big serving. It's like this thin little bit of corned beef and I don't know. But again,
I was hoping you'd say like this really healthy thing, and I was like, we should just eat how our grandparents eat. You're like, I was being starved.
No, it was probably like the stuff was healthy and but I think
those elements, like
as far as like
quantities.
a growing teenage boy, there was definitely not enough food to go around. Whereas like, I speak to my ethnic friends and they're like, there was
too much
no
food.
fucking end.
Yeah, like if you want more, there's more. There's a whole pot on the
You're not
stove.
allowed to have less.
Do you think we're always doomed to be a slave to these trends in nutrition?
That's such a good question, and I kind of think yes, because I don't know that you could point to a time in history since we have shared information among humans that there hasn't been some belief about this being the perfect diet, this being a really bad diet. Like it's high fat, then it's low fat, then it's this, then it's avoid this. Like I think we're always just kind of, people are in a way probably always seeking optimal health, even if they have terrible habits. They don't realize that. They're kind of always like wanting to live longer and feel better. So I think it's natural for humans to try and like seek that out and to experiment with different things. And I also think that just the psychology of humans, like we're so dependent on other people's opinions to form our own. I know that we all think that we make up our own minds and stuff, but it's like not really. Like we're in a web of other people's opinions, and that's kind of what we hear. And yes, we have free will to select little bits and pieces and create our own identity, our own belief system, but it's like you weren't born out in the forest with no other humans and you just formed these opinions out of fucking nowhere. Like they came from this web of human connection that you live in. So like, because we're dependent on those things, because we always want to seek like optimal health, and then because there's always going to be someone making money off of shit, like we're suckers in a way. So yeah, I do think we're kind of not necessarily doomed. I think that there's always going to be different cohorts of people that have stupid diets, but I hope that it gets a bit better and better as we get more knowledge. But even as I say that, we have the knowledge now, and it's almost like it's getting worse.
Yeah. So this also leads into this next question. Do you think everyone's mentally ready to undergo some sort of like nutritional overhaul?
That's another great question. It's not, I think everyone is ready to make some sort of change. I don't think everyone should do an overhaul. For example, I've started working with a lady recently, and she's like just hit her 50s, and she was such a victim of that like diet culture, that a lot of women kind of grew up with, the Jenny Craig and the light and easy and all that kind of shit. And it's like we've kind of got a mountain in front of us of like undoing little beliefs and kind of rebuilding them. I didn't give her a meal plan. I give all my clients meal plans. I don't say you have to follow this to a T, but I give it to them as a tool to kind of help their understanding.
Well, it's a guide. It's like a map.
Exactly. It's like, here's our base. But like, I didn't give her a meal plan. We just said, what is one thing that you can tell me that you can do this week differently? And she said, maybe I can eat lunch every day. And we went, sick. That's such a good goal. Most people kind of know what a healthy meal looks like. So it's like she just threw together a healthy meal every day for lunch.
Isn't that crazy that everyone knows that?
Yeah.
Like everyone knows like what a healthy meal looks like.
Yeah.
You know, you could ask anyone, they're like, yeah, probably some like seasoned chicken,
Yep.
some rice or potato, and some veggies. I'm like, go do it.
Do that.
Do that. Eat that twice a day with some
Yeah.
breakfast and
Yeah.
you know, maybe some fruit juice or something.
Yep.
Oh no, it's too hard.
Yeah.
I-
But that's the thing. The nutrition is easy. It's so simple.
Yeah.
But the application is so hard.
Well, I think the application. I don't think the application's hard. I think the fact is, like you said, is that we are constantly bombarded with other shit. Like
Yeah.
you go, like we'll scroll through our Instagram after this, and we'll have McDonald's, we'll have KFC, we'll have all this beautifully created fake food.
Yep.
You know, that's created to look appetizing, and me in prep at the moment, I'm actually drooling.
Oh my God, that sounds so
fucking
good.
thinking about it, the kernel. But you know, it's hard. It's hard to go. Oh yeah, you know, steak and potatoes look so sexy.
Yeah.
And I want to eat that, so I'm just dripping for it.
Yeah.
So you know that's where I think it's the real struggle is like you know the whole, and this is the battle with you know with coaching as well, as everyone wants a six pack.
Yeah.
Everybody wants a six pack because this is like literally the gold standard of someone who's fit.
Yeah.
So then all they think about is weight loss. I need to get a six pack. Now the same goes with nutrition. You know, it's like, oh, well, I want to get the six pack, but I can't eat the food to get there.
Yes.
Because like I want one sexy thing, but I don't want to get rid of the other thing that isn't sexy. It's such a weird balance. And like, I think that question that you said to your clients, fantastic. Like what's one thing that you can do different to help like make a change? Like that's a fucking amazing question.
And then they get to answer.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm not telling you what
You put
to do.
the
It's
onus
like,
on them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the change actually happens because it's not like I brought this up, so therefore I should be able to do it. It's just like they have their little bank of knowledge about their own life, so they're going to know what's more, what they can change. But yeah, I think that we are battling against like an obese environment. Like genuinely the way that we live our lives is set up for obesity.
Do you think it's obesity, or do you think it's just the over comfort?
Yes,
like,
but that's like that leads to it. I
leads
guess.
to it for
But
sure.
yeah, definitely.
I'm always in the agreements with people that say we don't have an obesity epidemic. We have an epidemic of people not understanding how to maintain their weight.
But I also think that it like as in I don't want to take away someone's like what's that word? Like their agency to make good choices and be a healthy person and like be strong and have discipline and stuff. But like I think that it's harder to be fit obviously than it is to be fat now, which is it's like our environment evolved so much faster than humans have. So like we evolved up until this point and we were fucking hunter gatherers, whatever. So it's like you get every little bit of energy that you possibly can because it was kind of like an equal input output naturally because you had to go fucking chase it down to get it. So you kind of couldn't get obese in that environment, but now we don't have to do the chasing down of the buffalo or whatever.
You know, it's so fucking crazy is like back in the day, like fat people were like celebrities.
Yeah.
They were like idolized in the community. Like, whoa, look how much like
An
you can
emperor.
eat. Like, you know, just like idolized. And now it's like, not that, you know, you poke fun at them and things like that, but it's just like, it's completely, you know, there's
it's the standard.
It's the standard. Yeah. Which is, you know, for us in the fitness industry is terrifying because obviously we all know the repercussions of being overweight, but you know, we're obviously all in the position to help these people and want the very best for them and to lose weight and for them to be confident and you know, go through that struggle that it is, you know, I think they said it's like harder than smoking or something like that to get out of it and do it, you know, so, you know, the people that we've got on the team with Grounded who have lost, you know, 40 plus kilos and I've helped them keep it off. And now, you know, they're fueling for performance. You know, that's for me the ultimate because like that's everything. It's like if they've been able to have go through the fear of losing weight and then now they don't have any fear of food and they're using the food effectively for performance.
So cool.
Very cool. Very cool.
But yeah, I just think like it's so important for coaches to be empathetic about that, to see the environment that people are kind of fighting against and to just listen to them and like not be like like there's so many coaches out there that'll be like, just fucking do it, bro. Like just fucking eat better, get to the gym. It's not that hard. I do it. It's like you're a PT.
Yeah.
Your livelihood depends on you being fit
It's
and healthy.
it's a very complex thing because you can't just look at someone and go, oh, they're overweight because they eat too much. It's like, no, well, what's led to it? How long has it been going on for? What's happening in their life that could potentially have, shifted them into being looking at food as a comfort aspect.
Exactly.
There's so much nuance to it. And that's why, me and Leiana at Grounded, we very rarely go straight into nutrition with people.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's a downstream element of like whatever's going on upstairs, It's like they've got like people have crazy different attachments to food and stuff. So it's like if you chatted with someone that was like, I'm so overwhelmed and like things have been really hard and I don't have very high confidence and stuff, and you're just like, here's a meal plan, here's your macros, stick to it. They're going to be like, I'm a failure because I couldn't do that. And then that just feeds into it. So you got to be like, how can we get you feeling a little bit better about your ability to do shit? How can we give you like a small win that you can then be like, oh, fuck, like I did it. I ate lunch every day this week. Now next week it's like, I believe that I can set a goal and achieve it. And then like the nutrition changes might be like months away.
Yeah.
Well, it's been like my one of my most successful at the moment is, he did all the fad diets, he did all the fucking bullshit, man shakes and all this sort of crap. And, I worked with him for 2 years before we even started tracking protein.
Yep.
Now, the reason why I did that, and he wasn't ready. He wasn't ready to undergo that because he hadn't experienced what his body was capable of performance-wise, getting stronger. You can get strong a lot faster than you can lose weight, in my opinion. I mean, obviously you can lose weight very quickly if you want to, but as far
to do
as
it the right way and keep it off.
Correct. Like for you to get a confidence boost and lift a double body weight in a deadlift, you're going to go, oh, fuck, I'm really strong. I want to get stronger. Now I'm like looking at ready to look at protein or some sort of, fueling my body better. Like a lot of the people, successful people in the Grounded Strength team who have lost a lot of weight, I haven't even done anything with them. They've just got the performance goals in the gym and gone, I want more of this. I'm going to eat better. Lo and behold, they start eating better. And then I go, oh, are you interested to, learn a bit more about like the literacy of it, like the macros and the breakdown and how we can fuel for performance and, maintain your weight and that. And they're like, yeah, for sure. But that's years.
Yeah.
It's not like, it was really nice. I think when we were at Gold Coast and Mark Carroll was talking about transformations and he was like, it's very rare to get someone who does a 12-week transformation.
Yeah.
They're very rare. Like they don't happen all the time. And like, this is the thing that I talk to a lot of new PTs. Oh, I need transformation photos. I need transformation photos. I'm like, bro, it takes time. You can't just force people into this box of thinking that because you want a post that's going to get 5 likes and think that it's going to change your life because you got a transformation, that you can just force these people into this box of like losing weight. It's horrible for them and it's makes you look fucking shit.
It really changes like the coaching relationship when you're kind of using your client for like a marketing outcome kind of thing. It's like, you want to show off like their hard work and all that kind of stuff. But it's like if someone's page is like really driven by those like transformations and stuff, it's just like, oh man, those poor clients.
Well, like, the thing is like they get no traction. Like me and Leiana have posted transformations and you get like 2 likes. But, it doesn't drive people to make a change. What drives people to make a change is like if they can consciously see themselves getting better from it. Just seeing a photo of someone else has done it, it's just like that's.
Do you know what people naturally do as well when they see someone else's success? And I do this, and I think a lot of people do. It's kind of the default. You instantly come up with a reason why it was easier for that person than it is for you. Like you might see someone doing really well in their business and be like, well, they probably fucking had really rich parents and went to business school and then you're like, no, they're probably exactly the same as me and they just put the work in, and that's a lot more empowering. But it takes time to get to that point where you allow yourself to see other people's success as like a motivator, as something that, just your average person can do, rather than like she's a fucking skinny bitch. So, you know what I mean? Like
it's hard in Australia because we've got such a shit tall poppy culture.
Yeah.
It's really hard. That's why I appreciate obviously all, you guys are all my friends because you can celebrate.
Yeah.
You clap, you know, and I clap for you guys and all that sort of stuff. But it's quite rare, you know, like me and Leiana have quite a small friends group, and it's because of that.
Yeah.
You know, it's this just, it is a relentless tall poppy thing. And it's weird because like you hear people like Aussies that go over to America and they go, it doesn't really exist there.
Isn't that crazy? And so many Aussies are so weird around Americans. They're like, oh, they're real arrogant. It's like, or do they just not like hate themselves?
Yeah.
Like, I think in sport, as in not like your average couch dweller talking shit about an Olympian, but in sport, like, you know, you guys compete or you don't at the moment or whatever, but like, you know, within sport, other people that do the hard things, that know how hard it is to get somewhere, don't talk shit about, you know, the other people doing it too.
Yeah,
so it's like that environment's a lot better.
Struggle makes people appreciate.
Humble.
Yeah. Humbles you very quickly. And that's why, you know, when we coach people, it's getting them to train hard in the gym first.
Yeah.
I love that.
Let them learn discomfort in a very safe environment, technique, training a muscle to failure, like, oh man, that hurts so much and blah, blah, blah. And then you can incorporate, you know, some nutritional stuff. And I'm super transparent with people. I'm like, this is going to suck.
Yeah.
You're going to be hungry. You're going to be agitated. Things are going to slow down. Your weight's going to go up and down. You're going to some days step on the scale and it's gone up 2 kilos when you're in a fucking, 1,300 deficit.
Yeah.
Like currently, like, just not to obviously dive this into bodybuilding, but, I've been in prep for a long period of time because I've had to lose quite a bit of weight.
Yeah.
And now because I'm so lean, the scale is almost useless.
Yeah.
And for me to separate myself from that has been quite difficult. Like Leiana will testify on that. Like every morning, it's like you hear me in the living room after doing 45 minutes of cardio, like completely fucking drenched.
Yeah.
Step on the scale, and I'm like, fuck, why the fuck doesn't it go down for? I've done everything fucking right this week and blah, blah, blah. But it's like, no, your body is literally in survival mode. It is holding on to absolutely fucking everything to not lose weight.
Yeah.
So, it is such a shit game. You know? And that's why I say to a lot of people, I go, weight loss is terrible. It's and when people say, oh, you need to have a sustainable weight loss plan, it's like, it's not meant to be sustainable. You're meant to fucking get down there and get the fuck out.
Get out of that,
Yeah. So it's just like, it's such a funny game that we're in, and it always makes me appreciate the human condition, I think.
Yes.
It's very nice and to see when people finally it starts to click and they go, oh wow. Like you guys spoke about after getting out of your fad diets. Like I can eat carbs, I can eat bread.
And my life will be significantly better for it.
And then like when you actually stop trying to diet or stop yo-yo dieting and you actually eat at maintenance or even in a slight surplus and you feel better, you've got more energy to push, you're like, wow, like this is where you want to live and where you should live. And like, it's so hard, obviously, like dealing with a lot of women, like, well, I deal with all the women, but like, they just want to be like skinnier or leaner, or they just want to go into a deficit. And I'm like, you don't even have the habits. Like, we need to focus on the habits first. Like, you need to earn the right to be in a deficit as well. Like, especially if they're like a yo-yo dieter, it's like you need to learn just what good habits are and like what good eating is, and just maintain that for a long period of time, even before like delving into a deficit. It's like if you can't maintain your weight, then what's the point? Like you know what I mean?
It's like, what's going to happen on the other end of that 12-week cut or whatever? It's like,
and like this is the reason why you yo-yo. Like you know what I mean? It's like because you don't know how to eat after the deficit, or you just like do extreme measures. So it's like it's just dealing with a lot of that stuff. But like once they, there's the switch flips and like they realize, like they just feel much better. They're like, fuck. Yeah, I don't want to be in a deficit.
They don't want to anymore because it's like once you can finally like experience for yourself. Because you can tell someone like you should focus on putting on some muscle. You should eat more. They're like, I don't want to. And it's like,
I don't want to get too bulky.
It's like,
or they're just scared of like,
to get bulky.
I just want to get. It's like, listen. I want to, and I've been trying for 10 plus years.
It's not going to happen.
Not going to happen.
But especially now, like being back in the deficit, like obviously doing like a long build, I don't know, like 8 to 10 months. And obviously you get to that point where, you know, it is like both ways are uncomfortable, whether you're building or like being in a deficit. But like, you know, when you're at that point where you like, you literally just can't eat anymore.
Yeah.
No matter what you do, like all the liquid carbs and everything, and like for a long period of time, like, and then you're like, yeah, I can't wait to feel hungry again and diet. But then literally once you diet, you're like, fuck, I can't wait to like be back building.
Yeah.
Like obviously there's a reason for a deficit, like 100%, but like long term, it's like,
spend as little time there as possible. Yeah.
How do you, with your clients, how do you sort of work that around with people who are obviously in a position to do a deficit? Like, how do you plan that out for someone?
I have really different clients. And so I kind of, instead of using like a sort of blanket, like I do like 10-week deficits, it's like, it really depends on the person. So for example, one client I have at the moment, he's got like a fair bit of weight to lose and he's real motivated. So he wants the meal plan and he's sticking to it to an absolute T. But we're kind of doing a bit of a slow and steady. Like I don't want you to feel like shit. I want you to enjoy your food. I want you to see enough weight loss that you stay motivated. Like I need you to get that like, fuck yeah, this is working. Like my hard work's paying off. And so I will, instead of setting the time kind of from the start, I'll sort of do like a week by week, see how we're going, see when we need to pull it back a little bit, gives them like a little bit of a refeed, go back to like a maintenance thing. I'd say that generally, if we were talking like real basic, I would put someone maybe in like a 500 calorie daily deficit for like a 10 to 12 week period, right? Like maybe that's kind of like the blanket, but in reality, like that's so different for everyone because I really don't have a niche. I have so many different, like very, very different clients. So it kind of looks quite different. But yeah, I wouldn't want someone in like, you know, over a 25% like deficit necessarily because like I'm not working with bodybuilders. Like I don't need someone to be that hungry, you know, like we would
Dick
just
skin.
yeah, exactly. It's just never like,
well, it's just not sustainable. You know? Like
it's
for someone, you know, me and Leiana are having this discussion where, you know, we have clients come and they're like, oh, I want to lose 20 kilos. I'm like, looking at them, you're like, you'll probably be happy if we lose 2.
Yeah.
You know, you get the fluid out, you probably shit out all the fiber that you've got in your gut.
Yeah.
And you're like, I can actually see a bit of definition now. I don't really need to lose 20 kilos.
Yeah.
I just really needed to take a big shit.
Yeah. That's it.
So obviously you've got a huge range of different clients and stuff like that. What's been for you the biggest sort of proof stacker to feel confident in directing people to change their nutrition?
Wow, what a great question. I think the biggest proof stacker for me was probably just working with fighters. Because the first few times that I took someone through a weight cut, it was so stressful. Like I lost sleep over it. I was like, fucking hell, like this has to be to the gram. You know what I mean? Like they have to step on that scale and like there's so much riding on it. And so now I'm just like, yeah, we're cool. Like this I'm not losing sleep over this. Like the plan is there and it's good. And I'm very confident in like all of my athletes being in a good spot to make weight. And more so than just making weight, like how I've seen them develop over multiple fight camps to be in like a way better physical condition, to be eating like hundreds and hundreds of calories more than they were when they were trying to lose weight previously, and to be able to cut so much safer and to cut so much less weight like on the fight week kind of thing, like taking a few athletes like through multiple camps, getting them like in just a really good spot. I'm like, all right, cool. So like the science works and the maths works and I have a good enough relationship with these people that they trust me enough to like be really honest with me. And like I know that they're not going to be like, oh yeah, I followed the plan, but they're out like eating KFC. They're just like, hey, I had a zinger box. What are we going to do now? And I'm like, all right, cool. Let's see what to do now. So I think that kind of built my confidence because I started with that group of people, and that was a difficult group of people to start with. And now I'm more kind of like a lot more gen pop, you know, like weight loss and stuff.
So you'd say that you yourself getting punched in the face has made you a better coach as well?
Yes, except for the CTE, but yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think fighters and I guess Yeah, I guess any elite athlete, you know, when you do have that relationship with your coach, it's like you just do it. Like Jason, for me, he'll just send me a plan.
Yeah.
And there's just no hesitation. I'm just like, go just do it.
Yeah.
And which I think is, you know, it can go the wrong way, which me and Leiana have seen with a few people who have gone through preps and stuff before, is that they've had no aftermath.
Yeah.
So like with your athletes, do you have a period of time afterwards that you're like, no, 100% you have to stay with me for 4 weeks after?
Yeah.
Because the repercussions mentally, if you just completely just say blow out or whatever, which is very common with bodybuilders, you know, that reflects badly on you.
And that's the single most important thing for, you know, when I was talking about like the bigger picture across multiple camps, it gets easier and easier each time for them to cut weight more safely. They're better fueled and stuff. The only reason that we can do that is because we didn't blow out after the last fight.
Yeah.
And so they didn't put on the extra 10 kilos that they then had to cut really like hectically for the next one. And then they're already in such a big deficit. So the aftercare is almost more important than like the cut itself, because it leads into the next cut and the next cut and the next cut. And it's
that's why, like with the challenge, like, you know, we have a segment at the end, like post-challenge.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah,
you
like
know,
what to do after.
Yeah, what
I
to do.
love
You know,
that.
it's not, the thing is, like with our challenge, and I'll say this again to the camera, it's not a weight loss challenge. It's just for, you know, what me, Annie and Leiana are talking about. We're talking about any goal here. If you want to just learn how to maintain your weight, like this is for you. If you want to get fucking jacked, this is for you. You know, it is scored on points. You know, it's not like before and after. Anyway, that's a challenge. But for me, it's like, like you said, what is the most important thing for someone to stay dedicated to their diet? It's like, what happens afterwards?
Yeah.
Because it's like, we can lose 5 kilos like this.
Yeah.
But what are the repercussions afterwards? Like, oh, good, I can eat normal now. Okay, well, what's normal?
Yeah.
You know, what does normal look like to you? What's the new normal? Does that mean you want to go back and eating all the shit that you were doing before? Because you just can't do that.
Yeah.
We can, but it's like moderation, obviously.
Yeah.
So it's like, what's your sort of navigation strategies with that?
I think that, and even like more recently, like this has become like more and more and more obvious to me that I don't care about how much weight someone loses in a really quick period. I think at the start, and when, you know, you have that coaching mentality of like, I want the transformation photo, you're like, cool, all right, 12 weeks, let's like lose this weight, let's get you looking good. But now I'm like, I would really like to, you have to do it secretly a little bit, because you need the client to be able to enjoy the weight loss, see the progress, feel motivated. But really, it's like you want someone to be working towards who they're going to be in 10 years. Like, not even like, oh, what about 6 months after the diet? It's like, how do you want to age? Because
I fucking love
if
that.
you like, that's how I'm thinking about
that's
my
why,
own training and
it's honestly
nutrition
now, like I with business, my training, my relationship with Leiana, I'm like 10 years.
Yeah.
Like we're going through obviously a bit of a tough period right now with, you know, running like the first time with the challenge, and it's all happening. It's like day by day sort of thing. I'm like, no, this is setting us up for a point in 10 years where we're going to be running this, and it's just going to be this amazing, successful thing, because we're going to have all these failures along the way.
Yeah.
That's going to enable us to have this great launching pad. I'm like, it is just the secret fucking sauce is this long-term delayed gratification. If you can coach someone, like you're about to say, to delay that gratification and realize you don't have to be, unless you're obviously doing a fighter or you're a bodybuilder or whatever, you don't have to be this on this date.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, if you can see change and you can see results, even if they're not what you had envisioned in that time, you're going to be happy.
I love when someone lets go of their first goal that they came to me with.
Yeah.
They think they have one goal, and then like 10 weeks later they go, you know what? I realized I actually don't give a fuck about that anymore. I'm like,
it's just like, I just want to get fucking henched.
I just like going to the gym. I like getting stronger and stuff. Like, I love that. So yeah, I think that 10-year thing, it doesn't have to be a number of 10 years, but it's more just like, what is your life going to look like for the rest of eternity? Like we were saying before, I'm only lifting 2 days a week at the moment because that feels so fucking sustainable to me that I'm like, I cannot.
Well, that's the
miss
key
a
word.
day
That's the key word.
with
It's
it.
sustainable.
Yeah.
You know? And that's what me and Leiana say to all our clients, like, what is the minimum
that you can
that you can 100% do.
Yeah.
There's a fucking earthquake going on outside. Your family's being carted off.
Yeah.
What are the 100% things that you can hit?
Yeah.
Week.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I can do 2 days. Beautiful. We're going to make these the best fucking 2 days of your life in the gym.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So it's just like the kind of the simpler things. But yeah, it's not like, oh, I'm eating a diet meal. I'm eating a low calorie meal. It's just like, I am now a person who will always have a portion of protein and some veggies and some carbs with my meal.
Yep.
And I go to the gym every week because I like going to the gym, you know? So it's like, just don't worry about that. Oh, I want to lose 5 kilos. I want to lose 10 kilos. Yeah, when you zoom in, it's important to have kind of like time-oriented goals and all that kind of shit. You don't want to be in like diet limbo forever and, you know, losing weight. But it's like, don't stress about those little things. Just be like, can you actually drink 2 liters of water? And if not, then it's like, what needs to fucking shift in your life?
Can you get
take
like
out those blocks? Yeah.
sleep? Like, I'm a big sleep nerd.
Yeah.
And you know, me and Leiana on our check-ins, like, how many hours sleep are you getting each week?
Yeah.
And if, you know, if they're to say they're not losing weight or they're, you know, gaining weight, I'm like, let's just fix the sleep first. Like, lowest hanging fucking fruits first. Yeah. It's like, what can we just pick off and change tomorrow? Yeah. Water intake, maybe a bit more steps. Sleep is just fucking like, you know, a superfood for everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, like, that goes with like not overhauling the whole lifestyle at once.
Exactly. It's like what can we
pick the easiest thing. Yeah. Work on that. Once that's a habit and it's all like, you know, on lock, next thing.
Yeah.
What's the thing
Yeah,
to
it's
add?
just keep stacking those habits. And then it's funny, like you stack just, you know, we get like maybe 2 or 3 done together as a coach and they're like, oh, I've just started doing this. I'm like, cool.
Yeah.
Just fucking run it. Yeah. Like, you know, it's like, oh, I cut down caffeine before bed. Now I'm sleeping better. I'm like, sick.
Yeah.
Awesome. You know, so it's like, again, you know, I think as us as coaches, it's just finding those small little bits of fruit that they can pick off and have that instant change. You know, it's almost just with, first of all, it's like mental clarity, especially with sleep. They're like, whoa, holy crap, I got 8 hours last night and I feel literally like Superman.
Yeah. And like sometimes people will be really hard on themselves for like maybe not having the energy to go to the gym like after work or something, right? And then you kind of have a look at how much water they're getting and how much sleep they're getting and what they're kind of general, like, are you even having lunch at work?
Yeah.
And they're like, I don't sleep, I don't eat lunch, I only drink coffee. And then it's like, this might not be a willpower issue for you not getting to the gym. This could be a very physiological reason for you not getting there. So like, feel a bit better, like be nice to yourself for fuck's sake. And then you might want to go to the gym. Like, it's not always this like me against me, like I'm a piece of shit because I didn't go. It's like, you're probably tired and hungry and dehydrated. You've tick those off first and then...
You literally, the environment just isn't set up for you to be that grinder athlete that you see on... on that sounded funny, grinder athlete. On Instagram where they're, you know, just getting fucking after it. Like that person is literally... their life is just a set elite athlete routine. They're eating the same foods every day. They're sleeping at the same time. Their training probably hasn't changed in years because it's still getting results for them.
Yeah.
So this leads me to the other question is like...
A real segue.
A real segue. It's going really well this time. So at the moment, and to be honest, like, you know, over the last sort of, I say 5 to 10 years plus, I haven't really changed what I've been eating. Like it's essentially been the same thing. Now, is that good?
I'm going to say yes because it helps you, like assuming that you're eating a wide variety of, like if you're eating vegetables and some fruit and some protein and some like whole grains, I'm just going to say like a blanket, yes, that's good. Like as long as there's enough variety within the diet, it doesn't really matter that it hasn't changed because it's the hierarchy of importance of like, okay, this, if you've been able to eat the same shit for 5 to 10 years, then it's fucking working, isn't it? Like it's not a yo-yo diet. It's like you obviously enjoy it enough.
Every fucking time I look forward to chicken and rice. I get excited for chicken and rice.
It's about how you season it. I don't know. People just think like diet, oh, it's going to be bland,
you have to boil
chicken,
it and boil it.
Like, you know, veggies. I don't like veggies. I'm like, well, you just need to fucking season
garlic,
it.
Yeah, I do that.
Salt. Like, why are people scared of salt? Like, fucking salt everything.
This comes, like who was I talking to about this? But it comes down to the fact of like you see a fragment of an elite athlete's diet, right before a fight, right before they compete. You know, they're eating nothing. They're eating bland stuff.
Yeah.
Because the room for error of they have to get into certain body fat with bodybuilding or certain weight It's of course.
Yeah.
But then unfortunately, because you just see that final point before fight, like 6 weeks out or whatever it may be, it's like, oh, they've just been doing that for 60 weeks or something like that. It's like, no. You know, you speak to any bodybuilder and they're going to be the biggest foodie of all time. Same with fighters.
Yep.
You know, but we're so nuanced at this certain point in time that unfortunately, because, you know, obviously fighters are in condition at that point, bodybuilders are in condition, so they're, you know, more active on social media and stuff, you're going to see just what they're eating, which is fucking pathetic.
Yeah.
You know, it's not what they're doing, you know, for 8 months of the year.
And I feel like something that people really grab as well, I don't know if this is like a few years back, it felt like such a big thing of like actors preparing for movies, like say fucking Chris Hemsworth or something, like getting ready to.
Well, they just want to show their steroid stack. That's
exactly.
Yeah.
So they're like, oh, this is his diet for this. It's like, okay, he ate that and a bunch of steroids to get ready for that role, but he's not fucking eating that. But it's all hilarious the time. You don't have to either.
Mike Israetel, he does these hilarious breakdowns of celebrities training.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, there is no way that they're training like this. They're doing like fucking pistol squats and battle ropes and all this sort of stuff. I'm like, come on, man.
Yeah.
They're just training like normal people in the gym, having a little bit of anabolic help and like
now they have an
nutrition.
App, so.
Now they have an app.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's so funny how they have to try and make it, again, sexy, right?
Yeah.
Chris Hemsworth, to get into condition for Thor, was doing battle ropes and then he did burpees. I'm like, no, he just went into a gym, trained hard, took a bunch of gear and got the result as Thor. Like, it doesn't have to be this.
Like
it's not sexy.
Yeah, it's kind of like everyone's hoping for it to be this like missing piece of the puzzle, because then that's why they're not getting the results. And if they finally find this magic little thing, then it's like, oh, cool, now I can look like Thor.
It's like there must be a secret.
Yeah, everyone wants there to be a secret. It's like it's just good old fashioned elbow grease.
Yeah, keep working. Like
consistency, hard work.
Yeah, that's what
time.
Yeah, it's just effort times consistency plus time. That's what we say to everyone in Grounded Strength.
But I think you have to find a way to like it.
Yeah.
And I think that might be the difference between the people that are looking for the magic key. It's like because you guys aren't looking for it because you fucking love training.
Yeah, but we're getting results. That's the
you're getting results, but it's
secret.
like you like training. I mean, what came
I
first?
only like training because I get results. Like if there was a pill that I could take and I could get results instantly, we're all taking it.
Yeah,
like,
you
let's
wouldn't
be
go
honest.
to the gym.
No.
You wouldn't enjoy.
No, let's be honest. Like if you could take a pill right now and you could look any way you want, and you don't have to do the gym, you don't have to do the work. That's what people are looking for. It does not exist, but if it did exist, people would take it.
People would take it, but I think that after a while they would. I think that people are geared towards challenging themselves, and not everyone does that in a healthy way. I think a lot of people, like, we have this inner need to challenge ourselves. So a lot of people that do it with the gym, great, healthy, fantastic. Other people will just do it by like sending themselves fucking loopy, by like creating challenges in their own mind, or having like anxiety might be that, like just creating these difficulties out of kind of nowhere because we need to overcome challenges. So maybe you'd take it for a few weeks, you'd look fucking great, but then you'd be like, what do I do with my hands? Like I need to do something.
Like,
I'm bored.
I do agree that, you know, there is obviously, I think I'm more talking from a population of people that don't really want to have to do the work, which is 98% of people. Like, look, I enjoy the gym. I enjoy pushing myself. You know, I'm doing a stupid bodybuilding prep because, you know, at any time I can just pull the pin. Anytime I can just be like, cool, I'm just going to go to fucking Macca's and throw it in. Yeah. But I choose not to because I want to see how far I can go. Where's my limit?
Yeah. And,
you know, throughout this prep, like Leiana will tell you, I found 2 times where I really found it.
Yeah?
Really found it. Like fucking was crying for 3 hours in the morning over nothing, had a giant ego death.
This is how women feel all the time.
Yeah, like called my mom, told her all these different things of like how I got to be a coach because of, you know, her forcing me into doing tutoring. It was fucking nuts.
Yeah.
Nuts.
Just lost your mind.
And then the second time was I got sick again. It was a few weeks ago, and again just fucking lost it. But each time I found a way to find another avenue to go, another pathway to continue going. And obviously having Jason as well as coach, he just, you know, knew that sick Adrian's a whiny little fucking bitch. and just let me sort of vent it all out.
Yeah.
Because as soon as I became well again, it's like, oh yeah, I'm switched on. Let's go. Let's really dig now. But again, the things that you learn about yourself in these self-inflicted struggles. So take, for instance, someone losing weight or quitting smoking or whatever, set you up to enable you to deal with very simple tasks that used to petrify people.
Definitely.
Once I've gone through this prep, I'm very like, for me at the moment, like with business, like I'm not worried about taking a risk on this challenge. Like for us, it's a massive risk.
Yeah.
But ultimately, it's like the 10-year thing. It's going to set us up.
You have to take the risk.
You have to, because if you don't, it's like losing weight or losing money. It's like the weight's going to come back on potentially.
Yep.
And the money's going to come back if you are really passionate about it. So it's like, that you have to think
less attachment, I guess.
Yeah, less attachment, but as well, it's understanding that growth only happens through struggle.
Yeah.
Like you have to go through some sort of failure points, some sort of lows to appreciate these wins that you won't even be fucking conscious of.
Yeah.
Like we look at our business and we're like, how the fuck did a retard like me and, beautiful Leiana doing all the work, she does all the work. I just
clearly.
I just come up with the stupid ideas and she's like trying to get me to simmer down and we push for it.
Yeah.
But, every single time that we've done it, like we've done 3 lift-offs, they've all sold out. This challenge is like the big thing for us now that we want to help people with, because we strongly believe it's something different. We strongly believe that it's more accepting than people coming in and just getting a before and after, and then we fuck them off, and then whatever repercussions happens afterwards. We have got so much belief in the thing of that what we're trying to do that we're willing to see it out for 10 years.
Yeah.
And I think for anyone that's going through and wants to do sort of like weight loss or build muscle and things like that, it's again like what we've already been all talking about today is that delayed gratification. Is like if you can delay that gratification and understand that this thing is a process and fall in love with that process of appreciating food for performance, lowest hanging fruits with sleep and training and fucking getting a coach, all these things will slowly give you the result that you've been looking for in a completely different light.
Yeah. And it's so different in reality than what you think it's going to kind of be like.
Correct.
Like it's just like when you were a kid and you look at adults or you look at teachers and they look like adults or like people have kids and you're like, one day I might be an adult or I might be a parent if I had a kid or something, and then you grow up a bit and your friends start having kids and you're like, fuck, you're just the same person,
you just have
a baby that lives with you. So
everyone's guessing. They don't know what the fuck's going on.
Yeah, so it's like you think that you're going to like have this fucking switch or this overnight, I'm going to be fit or something. It's like you're just the same person, but you just like do different things every day, and it's just like hard.
You wake up as a different person every single day, and I think this is the challenge as you're in a relationship as well. It's like, how do you, if you're not communicating that with your significant other, it's like that's where the drift happens. And it's also, I think that happens with yourself, is like if you're not like tapping into yourself and working out what do you truly want, like what do you believe is going to happen after you lose the weight or get a 6-pack, like what is your mind telling you? Like, will people look at you differently? Will you'll get $1 million, or like you really need to sort of sit with these things. And this is where I journal every single day now. I write down all my intentions for the day, my intentions for 10 years from now. And I go, what am I on the direction?
Yeah.
is
just at least in the right
just
the right
direction.
angle.
Like it's like with this, the challenge. I obviously lead everything back to that, but it's like it's a very, very confusing direction we're on right now. But it's a direction nonetheless. So it's not like we didn't spend the money, we didn't take the risk, and we're just up against the wall. It's like no, we're here. And it's slowly coming out into all these different directions of what we need to learn. And it gives us all these things to look for, like we've started doing Facebook ads and all these other things, and obviously getting you on the podcast. It's like, it's enabling us to do all these different things that if we had just decided, oh no, it's too much, don't worry about it, we'd never have considered this.
Yeah. And having that like ability to zoom out to the bigger picture is like what allows these things to feel like a bit smaller and a bit more manageable. It's kind of like, yeah, these will be difficult and the challenge is a risk and, all that. But it's like, but the bigger picture, it's like makes it, I don't know, just more manageable. It's like, well, we're doing this for a very obvious reason.
Yeah. So that I guess leads into with your clients is like when they've gone through, with any nutrition method, what have you found has been the most sort of consistent outcome for them? Now that can be obviously whatever you deem it, but what for you, I guess, when you look at them and you go, wow, this is a thing that I noticed that everyone sort of.
Yeah. It is less food anxiety is the thing that they all write it in their like check-ins and stuff. And I'm like, again, it's like that. And I mean, it's an underlying like reason, I guess, for why I really enjoy what I do and why I work with who I work with. But it's not like this kind of real obvious thing, but it's just like everyone, like after just a few weeks will be like, I just feel so much less anxious. And sometimes someone will come on board and I'm a bit like, fuck, this might even end up being someone who I have to end up referring out to someone because they might be a little bit on the, on the edge of where they're a bit too food anxious, where you kind of like, you need a responsible thing, whatever. And then people like that, it'll be a few weeks and it's just like, I have so much less anxiety around food. I just went out and had a meal with my friends and I didn't even care. And I'm like, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
That's
when
sick.
when we hear that with our clients, we know that we're going to be onto something. Because
and it's the long term. It's not just like I feel like shit all the time. I can't stop thinking about food, but I'm losing weight, so that's cool. It's like I take a really, I'm going to call it gentle coaching approach because I think there is a lot more like aggressive coaches that have more of like an authoritative kind of like manner and that their clients might like do the thing because they're scared to tell their coach that they fucked up. I don't think I'm that kind of coach.
I think it comes down to who you like with your fighters. You could do that.
Yeah. For them, it's like okay, you have to.
For someone who's just going through a general thing, absolutely.
Yeah.
There's room there to maneuver people around, and there's also I think there's lots of merit for them to fuck up. For them to go out and
let them learn.
Yeah, exactly, and go. And they're like, oh, I had this massive meal and nothing happened. I'm like, yeah. So allowing people to make mistakes and understand that, one little sort of big sort of like what they would consider I fucked up. I can't tell Annie, I can't tell Leiana like what happened. And, like just tell us like, and we'll tell you it's okay. Like you're a human being. Like you are, like we go back to the social media thing, you're bombarded with all this choice all the time.
Yeah.
Since COVID, we don't have to leave our house to get it.
Yeah.
We can get sex at home. We can get food at home. We can get video games at home. We can get movies at home.
Yeah, you do not have to leave that place.
You do not have to leave. Like we have a neighbor who we've never seen.
Wow.
Yep. So he's obviously getting absolutely everything delivered and done. So it's like everything is stacked against you.
That's what I was saying before with like, it's not like, we live in this obese environment, but it's like, it is stacked against you. So like give people some fucking grace,
Yeah, absolutely. So it's like, that's where I think it's so important for as our job as coaches is to be the guide, to help them understand that, unfortunately that everything's stacked against you. So you need someone in your corner. You can't, I strongly say that you almost can't do this on your own.
Because of the environment.
Yes.
I think I agree. I think there's just too much like misinformation and just too much like it, like even, like when I tell people or when I tell new clients, like they might be saying to me like, I feel like I know what to eat. I should just do it. And I'm like, I have a coach. Like Jason gives me my program, but like I really lean on him for nutrition stuff too, because like I'm all over the place. Like I'm a mess of a person most of the time, but like I'll be like, I'm just not hitting my like I don't like tracking on, I don't like tracking. So if I'm like, when I was in like a surplus, I was like, I'm actually struggling to like hit it. So it was kind of like, okay, well, can you just tick off 4 meals a day? Cause I like to tick. I write out a list every single day. And if it's on that, I can do it. So instead of it being like calorie counting and stuff, it was like, you know what to eat, you know what a meal should look like. Can you eat 4 of them a day? And I was like, just the way it was simplified like that was
that's great. Obviously, I've got a question for that. But what does that look like? So you're obviously giving them. It's kind of broad, like 4 meals. Like what? How do you get them there?
This is Jason for me,
right?
I wouldn't really. It would depend on the person, but like for him to say that to me was because he knows that I know what my plates need to look like. He knows that I know what like 3,500 calories a day looks like. It was more just the matter of it being this kind of mountain in my head of like getting there, you know, like, so he was like, you know, you don't like tracking. Can you just like make the meal and just have 4 of them? And I'm like, yeah, I don't know. It just made it so much simpler to do that. But like with another person to get them there, it would probably be more just conversations back and forth with a bit of food education. I think it's probably beneficial for everyone to track at some point.
I agree.
To just understand.
100%.
And I actually think this is something I need to do a bit more of because I don't necessarily always make my clients track first. Sometimes they're just absolutely not ready for it, or it would be this real stressful thing. So I'm not going to push them into it. But I do think it's worth everyone doing for like a week, you know.
Well, it's just again building that literacy. Like if you can understand, and then just say in the future they're not working with you.
Yeah.
You know, they can be like, oh, just use this macro calculator online and get a baseline of maintenance, and then they can work it out. It's like, well, you've done your job as a coach. Like you've done a fucking fantastic job.
Absolutely.
Because you've enabled them to solve a problem by themselves.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think tracking, you know, and we've only up until obviously working with you now, didn't have meal plans. We were teaching everyone to track.
Yeah, and that with the meal plans that you guys have now, those are like my teachers in a way. Like you know, for the people that don't want to track, obviously tracking is so helpful to learn what's in everything. But with these meal plans, it's kind of like have this quantity of meat, have this quantity of carbs, have this quantity of veggies, and swap in a sauce or whatever. So it's like they accidentally learn along the way. They do this meal plan. It's really easy. It's simple. They don't have to think about anything. And then in a few weeks, they're like, oh, I just swapped this to this. And they don't think, and then I'm like, in the back of my mind, I'm like, that's actually such a big deal that you were able to like
solve that problem
yourself. And they tell me about it. And I'm like,
huge.
did it? You learned
yeah,
by
well,
yourself.
You know, and that's, I guess we get into, you know, sort of wrapping up about it. It's like what aspects, because obviously you came on board and you're doing a workshop with us for the challenge. You know, Annie's beautifully created some meal plans and macros, everything for us, and the Grounded Strength team, which we are eternally grateful for and so excited to give to everyone. So thank you so much for putting it all together, because we're just, again, you know, we were in a position where we wanted to hire a nutritionist. Now we sort of don't. Like we can manage, and you know, obviously working with you to update it and stuff in the future is going to be awesome. What did sort of attracted you to our transformation? Like what do you think is different about it?
It's so responsible. And in a world where so many coaches are like on Instagram and trying to kind of like compete with each other and show off all their results and stuff, people will cut corners. People will like just kind of, like there's those coaches that are just after that end result, that like this person lost 40 kilos. And so like this is the picture, and they don't give a fuck how they got there, how they got that result. They just care that they got there before and after. So firstly, I really liked the fact that it wasn't a weight loss challenge. Not that there's anything wrong with, you know, wanting to lose weight, but I just see those like weight loss challenges. I knew someone who did one who specifically ate like fucking shitloads for like 2 weeks beforehand to put on heaps of weight, and then did like a weight cut at the end to like win the money.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
like they lost the most amount of weight, and then it was like, here's your money, you won. I'm like, that's fucked. Like that's how it's set up. Wow. That it's just like weight loss above all, you know? So the fact that yours is based on like habits, because that's like all of my coaching is very based on habits. That's what I fucking kept
forgetting to say. It's about habits. I'm like, oh, it's a checklist thing. I'm like, it's fucking habits.
It's habits, yeah. So it's like, because that's what leads to the best outcomes anyway. So it's like, I like that people could have entirely different goals. They could just want to feel healthier. They could want to have more energy. They could want to put on muscle. They could want to lose weight. And it's like, it's about building up these habits so that you do that forever. Yeah. That's what I think so cool about it. And then you have that like post-challenge kind of aftercare period. Like it's just so responsible. And I think for you guys, it's almost like I see that there's a risk in that, because you're not selling it as this like lose 20 kilos in, you know, 5 weeks. It's like you're doing it as this really like, sustainable, responsible kind of like
longevity thing. Like, you know, it's
so
like,
I think
we want to build out the habits for people to get those results later. Like, you know, if you can come on board the challenge and do all the habits, you fucking win $3,000. Like, that's amazing. You just have to come on and change your habits.
Drink some water.
Yeah, drink
Go
some
to
fucking
bed.
water and you get points. Like, you know, and then bring your friends in and drink and get points as well. So
Have a few waters with the boys.
yeah, that's it. A few H2Os with the boys. So yeah, I mean, thank you so much again for coming on the podcast. We've just gone, you know, great amount of tangents. So I can't even remember what we fucking spoke about.
Yeah.
But, it's been so much. Again, we've got the challenge. It's got 2 more. Whenever this video podcast comes out, I think it'll come out next week. So we've probably got 2 more weeks of promo. Please jump on. You will not regret it. The amount of value that you're getting with both Annie coming on with the workshops and obviously all the nutritional stuff she's giving us is going to set you up to develop some habits that for the rest of your life, the 10-year long, you know, delayed gratification is going to set you up to be a weapon whatever you want to do, whether that's you throw yourself into the deep end, you go on stage, or you simply just want to be a weapon in the gym with your sport or whatever the fuck it may be. It is something that we're incredibly passionate about. Like we want to build people into these longevity, sustainable machines with whatever they do, because if you can train forever, you're going to get results forever, not just these ups and downs and whatever else that all these other sort of challenges offer. So be beautiful if you could come on board. So please just reach out to either myself, Annie, or Leiana, and they'll point you in the right direction what to do. So again, thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Thank you. Yeah, it was
Learned
fun.
so much.